Program. I welcome you all to the new wine temple of the International Central Gospel Church and to our practical Christianity hangout. I welcome everyone into the auditorium here in East Legon, in Accra, and everyone joining us online, especially you. The new wine temple practical Christianity hangout seeks to bring together God's people and equip us for leadership in our families, in our businesses, finance, the public sector, and corporate institutions in order to influence our world with the principles of Christ. This is in line with ICGC's mission of raising leaders, shaping visions, and influencing society through Christ. We call it a practical hangout because the approach is different from that of a church service and allows for questions, interactions, and demonstrations. Tonight, get ready and be inspired by our speaker for today. Also remember to block your Wednesdays evenings at 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for in-person or online participation in the PCH Hangouts. September is our family and relationship month, and you don't want to miss any bit of it. Today's program promises to be very interesting. Remember to send your questions and comments to us throughout the program using all the online channels or via our hotline 024-9999-000. We will start with a song ministration by Duchess Yaria, followed by a scripture reading by Mrs. Mary Amma, and a song ministration by Vanessa Boachi Yadom. We will then be ready to receive our host, Pastor Albert Okran, to introduce the guest minister. Shall we now welcome Duchess Yaria to take over the service? Thank you.
Hallelujah. Amen. Every time I think about you, every time I read about you, every time I hear your name, I start to smile. And every time the sun starts shining, and every time the wind starts blowing, and every time I feel your anointing, I start to smile. Let me take the time to say I love you. Let me take the time to say I care. I love you, Lord. Every time I think about you, every time I read about you, every time I hear your name, I start to smile. Oh, every time the stars are shining, and every time the wind starts blowing, every time I feel your anointing, I start to smile. So let me take the time to say I love you. Oh, let me take the time to say I care. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord.
Let's listen to the reading this evening. Psalm 133, verse 1 to 3. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious oil upon the head, running down on the beard of Aaron, running down on the edge of his garments. It is like a dew of Hermon, descending upon the mountain of Zion. For the Lord commanded the blessing, life forevermore. Here ends the reading of the word. Amen.
Amen. Let's give a clap offering unto the Lord one more time. Amen. I need you. You need me. We all are part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We all are part of God's body. I need you. You need me. We all are part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We all are part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. So I pray for you, and you pray for me. I love you. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth, and I love you. I need you to survive. I pray for you. You pray for me, and I love you. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth, and I love you. I need you to survive. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. Oh, you are important to me, and I need you to
celebrate the gift of God. Elsewhere, they would have said, if you want her to win, text this number to, you know how they do it in American Idols and so on. It's a beautiful evening. Somebody tell the person it's good to see you. Tell the person, especially you. Well, on behalf of Comfort and myself and the leadership, I'd like to welcome every one of you to our Practical Christianity Hangout and our Relationship Month. Let me welcome especially those of you watching us online across the world. We've had phenomenal numbers online since we started this Family and Relationship Month. Let's welcome our online audience with a clap. Let me also welcome those of us here in person and thank you for making time to be here. The family is the centerpiece of God's plan for humanity. And this month we have dedicated ourselves to building stronger families. Somebody say stronger families. The reason is very simple. We believe that once the family unit is strong, the society is strong, the nation is strong, and the world is a better place. Many of us are products of the experiences we have in our families. And so, as a church, the family is a very, very important unit for us. That is why our church programming focuses a lot on building a warm, intimate church where you feel a part of what we call one big family in Christ. So this month is dedicated to building stronger families and stronger relationships. Interestingly, many people assume that it is a matter of course that once you grow older, you are ready to enter and keep a strong relationship. It is only when they get into it that they find out that, like everything else that you engage in life that you take seriously, you need to prepare and understand it and excel in it. We at the New Wine Temple don't want to take it for granted and want to prepare a people that are fully rounded. So if you're here for the first time, the Practical Christianity Hangout provides a forum to equip ourselves holistically for leadership in the home, in our careers, in our finances, in our social lives, and in every single area of our lives, including our health, so that we have relevant answers to the issues that concern us. And this month we are bringing three very special people that Comfort and I know, love, and treasure and trust to share on this platform. Tonight's topic is one that everyone needs, especially you. Turn to somebody and look at them with a certain eye that says, you in particular, you need this one. It's about communication and conflict management. Every one of us in our relationships, in our homes, in our workplaces need it. And so from the context of family and relationships, this is probably one of the most critical topics. Experts always mention this as one of the three key things that people need to survive and thrive in a relationship. To speak today on this subject is someone who wears different hats, but I'll mention two of the hats. He's an information technology executive and consultant for one of the biggest corporate organizations in this country, and also a well-known relationship expert and coach with clients in different countries who book and then he works with them in sessions. He's one of the few relationship experts who actually has clients who book and he works with them. And in my interactions with him over the time, I found out that there are several testimonies from people whose lives have been touched. He's very, very popular on social media because of his interventions that try to provide a platform for general learning for people. But I love what God is doing with his life, and I believe that he will be a blessing to us tonight here at the New Wine Temple. So for everyone here in person and for all those joining us across the world, I would like to encourage you to take this session very seriously. Write down your questions and write down the difficult ones, because after he finishes speaking, I'm going to open the floor for those in person and those online to ask your questions. Write them in the comment section for the online audience, and for those in person, write them in your notebook. We'll provide microphones for you to ask your questions. So if you're ready like I am, help me welcome the one and only PG Sebastian. Let's put our hands together as he comes.
Thank you very much. Please, we may take our seats. So, as I have been introduced, my name is PG Sebastian. The PG is Pa George. So if you are wondering what the PG stands for, it's just Pa George. I'm a fancy man. And so, maybe along the line, I'm just praying and hoping that there will be no concerts. But if small concert comes in, I'm a fancy man. You can't separate us. But hopefully we'll have a good time. Reverend Pastor Alberto Kran, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I always say that ICGC is probably one of the churches that I've spoken in a lot than all the churches. I think I've done about 6 or 7 of your branches. It's always a joy when I come here. It always makes me feel that I'm home. And Reverend Albert is my big brother, and Mrs. Comfortokran, that's my boss. So this is home, but I'm also careful what I say, because obviously I want to keep receiving my salary. This evening, like he rightly said, but before then, let me also acknowledge this church. It's a beautiful church. I mean, when I entered and I saw the decor and the design, I said, wow, this is a huge church. And obviously, it took money to bring it to this level. So whenever we are called upon, we know we should do it because we know where it's going to. We see this is a beautiful edifice. So, my name is PG Sebastian, as they said. As Reverend said, I operate PG Sebastian coaching. Please, let's move on. Just a little introduction about who I am, what I do, and then all of that. So, as Reverend said, I am mostly interested in young working class couple. I believe in foundations. Build the right foundation, and everything you put on goes well. If this, as you can see this structure, if it was built or the foundation was the foundation of a small building, over time, the weight on this will let that foundation cave in. And you see cracks because the house is beginning to resettle. And you find that, again, in marriages, a lot of marriages that were not built on good foundation, you get to see a lot of the challenges as time goes on. And so for me, I believe in foundations. I believe in foundations a lot. A lot of my clients will tell you that we always start from the bottom, at the very foundation, at the very basic. And this evening, I guess it is one of the things that we'll be doing. There is my boss and my sister. Mommy, you are welcome. So yes, what do we do? Basically, we are into relationship coaching. Get it right there, and then everything follows well. Then premarital counseling. My premarital counseling is very intensive. It's about 100 questions that you have to complete. You complete, your partner completes it. before we even start. And it is bespoke. About 70% of it is tailored to you. So I'm not teaching you generic content that sometimes you can't relate with. And then I also do postmarital counseling. I do divorce therapy. I am pro-family, don't get me wrong. I am pro-family. I believe in the marriage or the marriage institution. But you and I also know that sometimes it becomes so toxic that every single day that somebody remained in that marriage, a child is going to suffer in the future because they are watching what their parents are doing, and it is becoming their own impression of what marriage is. And so it gets to a point you realize that, okay, it's no longer safe. It's not safe for the woman. It's not safe for the man. A lot of us are being abused. We are beaten to pulp. But who are you to go and complain? You're a guy. So you just suck it. Sometimes you realize that, brah, the patch away, go. Please, how many of us don't speak Chi or Fanti at all? Because sometimes, it's fun when some of the things are said in Chi. So, yes, sometimes when you get there, we would have to make this intervention and we have to go through divorce. And then I also do a lot of these thematic topics in marriage. So one of them is what we are doing: communication and conflict resolution, intimacy in marriage. It's a big area, intimacy in marriage. You'll be surprised. Before we marry, we are all in the middle of the sun. It is like the sun is there. There's one end. We are standing in the middle of the sun. And then you marry, and the same sin that you would travel from here to Kumasi to go and commit. You marry and you start paying school fees, the children start coming in, and you don't want your partner to touch you at night because your mind is processing. And intimacy has become a big deal in a lot of marriages. Long distance marriage is also another key area. A lot of people, because of work, have long distance marriages. And it always has its own unique challenges. In-law relationships, all of that. So I will offer all these. And as Reverend said, my clients are all over. My clients are all over. In North America alone, I have about 23% of all my clients from there. In terms of those who actually book on basis, the whole of last year, we did about 450 plus, about 487 sessions last year. That's more than an average a day. And about 60% of all that were from North America. A lot of my clients, most of them are Ghanaians, living there and working there. Some of them are married to outsiders who are struggling to understand the Ghanaian culture. We are unique, right? So sometimes you marry somebody from a different culture, they struggle. So it's one of the areas that I also handle. So basically, that's who my clients are. And then I operate from Ghana, and a chunk of my clients, as I mentioned, are all over the place. All right, please. All right, so we are going to discuss communication, as we said. Please, next slide. Communication is as Reverend said, it's an integral and a key part to the success of every relationship, of every marriage. But while we are communicating, because of things that we are about to hear, there will be conflicts, okay? Because of the uniqueness of who we are. In our communication, there will be conflict. And so we will look at that as well. And so we'll start with understanding the uniqueness of your partner. Then we'll move on to communication itself. And then we'll move on to conflict management and resolution. So let's jump into it right away. So, understanding the uniqueness of your partner. We need to understand one thing. And sometimes that's one of the areas where we struggle. We think that everybody is just like us. But no. We are different people. Your partner is unique. You are unique. And once we understand and embrace that fundamental truth, it makes it easy for us to relate with people. if you begin to understand that people don't think and process the world around them the way you do, you begin to cut slack for people or cut people slack. You see, sometimes in our mind, you don't understand why somebody can make such a mistake. I've omitted the first word that describes the mistake because of where we are standing. But you know, sometimes you're wondering, like, how could you have made this mistake? No, you see, you have spoken from a broad perspective. You factored in your education. You factored in your upbringing. You factored in your experience. You factored in so many things to be able to make that decision that you don't understand why somebody couldn't make. Because the person hasn't got any of these experiences. So they are unique. You are unique. And we need to respect that. If we get on that tangent, it makes it very easy for us to live with our partners. We are the product of our thoughts. We are the product of our thoughts. So the kind of things that you are thinking in will eventually shape the way you relate with the world around you. It's simple. I don't know anyone who thinks differently from his actions. It's like your actions and your thoughts are separate. Unless you are doing it intentionally. But in your normal human experience, we are the product of our thoughts. And so the kind of thoughts you are thinking about will determine whether you are a good person, whether you are a bad person, whether you are a gentle person, whether you are an aggressive person. It is all the product of your thoughts. Now, how are these thoughts shaped? These thoughts are shaped by our experience. These thoughts, they are shaped by our experience. So you learn always to have it at the back of your mind that, hey, as for me, Charlie, once you come here, will be. It is because of where you are coming from. Having learned over the period that in this life, when somebody slaps you and you are hoping that in some distant future, there will be retaliation on some part, you won't get it. So if somebody slaps you, oh yeah, you slap the person back. That is an experience because you may have gone through that. You've seen evil people walk away. Evil people live to full age and they die. And righteous people keep dying. And people are forgiving sin and they are not getting sort of vengeance or whatever. So it becomes your experience. We are not talking about whether it's true or false. You know, it's not about the truth, the truthness or whatever. It is about the fact that it shaped your thinking. So now you think out of that experience. Now, that experience itself shapes your perspective. It shapes your perspective. And it's out of this that we communicate. So typical example is, if I grew up in a big family where everybody was welcomed, call it a compound house. There are Muslims, there are disabled people, there are women in prominent spaces. I grow up to have a mind and a worldview or perspective that everybody is included or we are inclusive. Everybody serves a purpose. Everybody has something to contribute. So I become more comfortable with dealing with people of different religion because I grew up with them. You understand? So my experience makes me more open-minded to other religion. I mean, you can't start hating people of a certain religion when next to your house they had a place of worship. When the woman you always bought food from was that type of person. And when your neighbor who came to your house to come and watch TV was from that same religion, how can you grow up and suddenly you hate them? No, it doesn't work like that. You understand? And so we become more acceptable. So if you find that men who respect women, they normally grew up in homes where women had power, where women were respected, where women called some shots. So it shaped the way they think. And I would say that about myself. You understand? I cook. I can close my eye and bake cake. I close my eye. I don't need to see this issue that I'm talking about. I remember there was a time I went to US. I woke up in the morning and I saw that there was butter on the counter. So I called my sister-in-law. I said, Doc, what is? I was like, Doc, what is this butter for? He said, nanchawo ne debi ese nyimezibane ye. And the PS and the mama say, yemfa butter no bottle na cake na yenhwe. The last time I baked cake, I was like 20. It's like, I was like in the university. I was like, ish. Oh, but I was surprised. My mother-in-law is a caterer. I mean, like, she's in that space. When she ate it, she was like, hey, George. Hey, son, it's my experience, right? So I don't see men who cook to be weak, emasculated. That is what I mean. So it shaped my perspective. Okay? If I grew up in a place where all these things are available, it shapes how I think, how I see the world, and it influences my communication. As opposed to people who grew up in a very homogeneous environment. So you are married to a man who grew up in some small town in the middle of nowhere, went to a small town school, finished university. Maybe the small town is about 30 minutes away from Central Cape Coast, and therefore ended up in UCC. I went to UCC, so I can use it as an example. Everything happens in Cape Coast. Then you finish, and this person suddenly marries you, a cosmopolitan lady. Your father was probably a diplomat. You've traveled, you've seen the world, eating different food. This whole business of frog and snake and dogs, it's nothing weird for you because you've been in China. You've eaten them. So you realize that when it comes to basic decision making, you are more open-minded. You understand? You are willing to consider so many variables. Your spouse doesn't. He's just narrow-minded. Because in that little space, everything became a routine. You get what I mean? Everything became a routine. And so we are the product of our thoughts, our experiences, and our perspective. All right. But let's go on. What are the drivers of our communication style? Again, we are still on understanding the uniqueness of your partner. We are still talking about understanding the uniqueness of your partner. Now, what are some of the drivers of our communication which makes our partners unique from us? Because ultimately, your partner's behavior, their communication, their way of life is what we are trying to understand. And how yours is different from that of your partner, and therefore you are unique, they are unique. Let's look at a few things. First and foremost, let's get some basic conversation. There was a time in our development, in our social science, or social evolution, when psychology started at the early stages of psychology. There were two schools of thought. There was one school that said that we are born predetermined, more like we are configured at birth. So we are more like we have a lot of defaults. That's who we are. So basically they are saying that if you came into the world as a thief, or you came into the world and your family members were thieves, or it runs in your family, you will be a thief. There is nothing you can do about it. Society may attempt to modify it a little bit, but you are a thief. If you are born smart, you are smart. Nothing can be done about it. If you are born dumb. So basically, they are saying that who we are, we can only manage it and guide it, but you really can't change people. Then there's one school of thought that also says that no, we are born as a blank slate, tabula rasa. I'm sure we've heard that expression, tabula rasa, blank slate, and that we come into the world with nothing, and society writes on us, our experiences write on us. And one psychologist said that give me a child, I can make a thief out of him. I can make a lawyer out of him. I can make a king out of him. I can make a pauper out of him. I can do anything. But you see, over the period, we came to understand that it is not this versus this, or this and that. It was amalgamation of the two. So some people are born in environments. Some people are born into families that are naturally predisposed to aggression. Okay, they are naturally aggressive. You know, there are some families like that. Like everybody's aggressive, you can't tell. But then one of them, probably by the time they are 5 years, their uncle get a chance to travel outside. He says, oh, I want to pick this your child. And then, take him. Let me just take care of him. I mean, you guys are really struggling. Let me do this. And then they take the child into another environment where there is order, there is discipline, there is this, that. You see, biologically, he's predisposed to aggression. But because of social influence, it becomes a bit mellowed. That is not to say that in all cases it works. Sometimes, even if you take the person to the middle of nowhere, they will still maintain who they are. But averagely, as they are conditioned onto a good behavior, it becomes who they are. Gradually, it is suppressed. Whereas, somebody may also come from that background and grow up in an environment or community that encourages that. There are some communities in Ghana here, once you mention that that's where you are coming from, everybody takes a step back because you are prone to violence. Even the way you talk. Well, you know where I'm coming from? Right now. Charlie, ufri, I know be steady. You know, and again, somebody may be born to a good family, but because of education, because they left home at a very early age and they had no parental supervision, by the time they come back from school, they are different. It's like, this guy, he's different. The entire family, he's different. And sometimes in the same family, you find people with different characters. That tells you that socially, they're all getting the same parenting. They're all getting the same experience. But biologically, they are different because they have inherited traits from relatives, uncles. Every human being has the trait of 400 relatives. Every human being has a trait of 400 relatives. Now, I am coming to this place for you to understand that human behavior and the way people talk, it's not just, it just came out of their mouth. There's a lot of processes that take place in people, okay? So we come into that. So, ultimately, we may want to know, when you put these two together, the person's biological makeup and the person's social constitution, what does it lead the person to become? And that is what we say, it shapes the person's traits or personality traits or behavioral traits, okay? And the person then acts and behaves in a particular way. But we may want to know some of the biological things or some of the biological drivers of this uniqueness or this behavior or traits that make us unique one from the other. One of them will be temperament. Please, how many of us are familiar with temperament? Are we all familiar with temperament? We are sure. So we all know what our temperaments are. Please, how many of us know what our temperaments are? Our temperaments. How many of us know what our temperaments are? What's your temperament? Melancholic. Okay, melancholic. So you identify as an introverted person. Okay, please, you also mentioned, yes. You are sanguine. So you identify as an extrovert. Okay, please, who else knows their temperament? So you see, it is one thing that you need to learn. Please, you need to learn what your temperament is. Because you see, your spouse, once you know what your temperament is, you share it with your spouse, right? You also get to know what their temperaments are. And then the two of you compare and contrast. I have made peace with my wife because I found out what her temperament was. My wife is phlegmatic, painfully stubborn. You say that then she'll be smiling at you. Everything is fine. She'll be nodding as if she's going to do it. She woke up and going to do exactly what she said she was going to do. That's phlegmatics. Me too, I'm melancholic. I'll keep coming back to it until I get the answer I want. Until I get what I want, I'll keep coming back to the issue. I can be painfully detailed in the things I want. We are coming to that. But you see, if you don't know your partner's temperament and you are living with them, you just assume that everything they do, they are intentionally doing it to harm you. No, sometimes they don't even know that that's what they are doing. You'll be surprised. Let's go on. I don't want to take time. Let's quickly look at them. I'm just going to mention their... please, let's... okay, please, can you come back a bit? Come back one. Yes, let's stay here. All right. So temperament. Number one, sanguine. Let me quickly talk about the attributes of sanguine. They are outgoing and social. They are enthusiastic and lively. Sanguines. They are the eye of the party. They are optimistic and carefree. And I'm sure we see them around. They are always happy. There's always a smile on their face. There's always a new story. There's always a new filler. They are spontaneous and easily distracted. The typical people who can never start something and finish. Today you met them, they've gone to enroll at the medical school. You are happy for them. 3 years later, you met them. Hey, doctor, how's the lesson coming? Wait, what? Doctor? Oh, why are you calling me doctor? Then you 3 years, who call medical? Oh, that's one. Oh, I didn't even like 5. I'm now, you see, at a point in time, I wanted to be a lawyer. But you see, there was this church service and Reverend Alberto Kram preached about the power of being self-employed. Then I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So what's happening to the entrepreneurship? Oh, Charlie Massa, my guy, we got everything and everything. Charlie, we were about to go live. Oh. Then Charlie, my mother fell sick. And so when we were taking care of her, I realized that no, I could do this thing rather. That's how sanguines are. Hey, they will never stick to one thing. And there are some people, they can't maintain one job. After 2 years, they move on to the next job. After 2 years, they move on. They can't do one thing because they easily get bored. That's sanguines for you. Now, they also adapt. They easily adapt. All they need is their smile. And they will easily adapt. And they're very versatile. They are very versatile. Their strength is that they easily make friends and connect with people. They don't mind. They'll just walk to you. Mommy, I like your hair. Wow, when I grow up, I want to have this hair. No, can I have your number? No. In 30 minutes, they are your best friend. They easily make friends. They inspire and motivate others. So they are always the people who are always encouraging us to come for group studies. And then they won't show up. Or they'll come late. And immediately they enter the door, Charlie, my guys, I'm sorry. I hope you added my name. I'm sorry, I got stuck in traffic. Where she's coming from, there's no traffic. That's how sanguines are. They will inspire you. Come for quiet meeting. Come for this, come for that. They themselves are not probably going to be there. They lift the spirits up of those around them. I mean, sometimes it gets annoying. Because sometimes, Charlie, this is not agro. You're trying to play with it. And sometimes you get so angry, you chase them and visually you start laughing and patting them at the back. Like, they've kind of, taken the stress and everything off. Again, they enjoy new experiences and adventure. So they are very adventurous. Extremely adventurous. And not every one of us is adventurous, right? Yeah, not all of us can drive from Ghana to London. I mean, you may think it was just a trip. It wasn't. I wouldn't do that. Not through Africa. There's a bit more desert in this way. It made me fear in Kakra. Amen. Now, what are their weaknesses? They can be impulsive and erratic. So they go to town with a bag full of money, no plan, no agenda. By the time they come back, they've bought things they don't need. Things that they have. They've bought other variations of it. It's like they are poor in planning. You go to somebody's room. I said that the girls. You go, the king size bed, not the queen, the king size bed. There is just small portion where they sleep. And the rest is their wardrobe. Every day they are looking for their earring. Every single day they look for their earring. I mean, everybody would think that by this time you should have found a place to put your earring so you don't have to keep looking for it. Every day they are looking for their earring. Every day they are looking for something. Every day they are sweaty. They are like all over the place. That's them. Very erratic. Very impulsive. They struggle to follow routine. They are disorganized and they can struggle with commitment. A lot. They can struggle with commitment. Sometimes they are perceived to be superficial. They are the ones who are always wearing gay colors. Color blocking. Wild colors. They show up, their perfume. They come, they are here. Somebody outside will be like, Jamarita Baha. I didn't see it. I don't want to be even the way they laugh draws attention. They need their attention. They need their attention. That's a sanguine. Now, they also enjoy, so we've talked about that. And then they are superficial. And they easily get bored or restless, and then they can be forgetful. So that is about the sanguines. Let's quickly move on from the sanguines to the choleric. Now, the cholerics, so the sanguines are extroverts. Okay, cholerics are also extrovert. The other arm of extroversion. However, the cholerics are a little bit. People think they are mean. So let's look at some of their key attributes. They are driven and goal-oriented. The driven guys and goal-oriented, we normally call them workaholics. They are strong-willed and assertive. And so the problem with most women in Africa, firebrand women, successful businessmen, women, successful corporate women, they are either struggling in their marriages or they are divorced. Or their husbands are very chilled and very quiet and very laid back because they are strong women. I mean, even when a man is choleric, it's in your face. How much more a woman in a culture where women are supposed to keep quiet and not talk? You go to board meeting, you're not going to sit down and say, yes, sir, my lord. Yes, I say. Yes, I say. No, you're at a board meeting. You need to lift your hand up and speak. And sometimes you are the only woman there. Sometimes you are maybe one of two women there. And everybody's a guy. And they're all trying to, throw you under the bus or get a piece of you. It takes a certain kind of woman to be in that space. And the same thing for the men as well. So that is why you find out that women who are very strong, sometimes they even struggle to find boyfriends. Because the boy that is coming, he wants to come to the house when they want. Go out for 3 days, they wouldn't have talked to you. And they're expecting that after 3 days, when they call you, everything follows as if nothing has happened. We are married to you, I can go out, you can't call me and find out where am I, and it's 1 a.m. You can't do that, you can't try that in a choleric woman's house. From day one, she will tell you, if you try that nonsense again. So, cholerics, women who are cholerics, they are no nonsense. Men who are cholerics, they are no nonsense. And sometimes it's very difficult to live with them. Now, again, they are also straightforward. They are straightforward, and highly independent. Again, you see, our culture expects that women depend on men. So the mere fact that the woman does her own job, makes her own money, that means that her thinking process is that of an independent thought as well. So she will start a business without probably telling you. Or she will start a business without collecting money from you. And so then we'll say, "Brat, if you're in a tikwa pie, I don't like, my wife doesn't respect me." Kwajo, what's the problem? Can you imagine? You came with this card, you said you wanted to start a shop around the American house. It's a good location. I said, fine, let's think about it. And maybe the husband is melancholic. If you not offer the book of explanation, or offer set square, no offer T square, no draw all the risk aspects, all the potential troubles, do everything before we start the business. Yeah, we start the business. Choleric woman too, in her mind, if I don't go and take this spot in 2 days, somebody will come for it. Melancholic man will give you go ahead after 3 months. What do you think she will do? She just go and do it. But why didn't you tell me? But babe, you were taking long. What do you mean I was taking long? We needed to, baby, this, I don't even see why we are fighting. So what do you want me to do? I said, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? You see, I've told you, you don't respect. You see the way you're even talking to me? And so, it becomes very difficult for them to, live. Actually, they don't have the time. And it's happening in people's homes. Is there anybody here who is not familiar with this? Women who are strong and their husbands are uncomfortable. Yeah, it's happening in people's homes. Now, they also value, just a minute, I scrolled up a little bit. Okay. And they are proactive. Yep. Proactive. And they are confident in their abilities. Confident in their abilities. They are the people that you can't threaten to cut them off. Go and put them in the Sahara Desert. You go and see a mall in the desert. They would have made a life from there. You can't threaten them. So that's all feed into the divorce rate in that sector. Because all the things that a typical African man will use to keep a woman down, you can't use any of that. Without nothing, she can sell her aboso at Makola to make money to start a shop at Aboso or Makola or wherever. So if you're a woman and you are choleric, it's not a bad thing. You should just know how to manage it. But it's not a bad thing. Okay. Now, they are quick thinkers. They are quick thinkers. Quick. They think on their feet. Now let's look at their strength. They are natural leaders, motivator, gets things done efficiently, independent and confident, proactive and forward-thinking, persistent and tenacious. Tenacious. Weakness, they can be domineering and controlling. So a lot of women are like, hey, my husband is a gaslighter. He's this, he's domineering, he's controlling. No, sometimes it's not intentional. It's not because they feel that when they leave you, you are going to chase another boy. No. It has nothing to do with that. It is their temperament. So the only thing is they need to know that they are domineering, they are controlling, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. You are not a child, you are a grown woman, or you're a grown man, you deserve some respect. And it is for them to agree to this and work on themselves. but they are not necessarily bad people. Well, some people also leverage on those things. Once they know that it works for them, yeah, why not? I know that if I scream at you, I'll get the result. I'll keep screaming at you. So yes, if you are a choleric, while this is good, you may want to work on it. Again, they are also known to be impatient with indecision and inefficiencies. If you are not a decisive person, because don't forget I just said that they are quick, they make decisions on their feet. They are quick thinkers. So if you are an indecisive person, you are an inefficient person, they have problems with you, they don't have patience. And I'm sure we all know bosses like that. Yeah, you know bosses like that, you can't make the same mistake twice. And we know husbands and wives like that. It's as if, sometimes men talk to their wives as if they are their employees. And they don't understand why the delays. They don't understand why the mistakes. No, they don't. So it's important that you know what your partner's temperament is. Prompt them about their weaknesses. Help them resolve it. And if it comes to your attention that these are your weaknesses and that's how it's, or what is making your partner feel, work on that. I think it's only fair that, we are people of feedback. Again, they are resistant to opinions that differ from their own. They are resistant to opinions that differ from their own. So most of the time they think they are right. Now, when it comes to marriage, their communication style is clear and to the point. So if you are expecting a lovey-dovey kind of thing, you've dressed, you are looking nice. Oh, babe, can't you say I'm looking nice? But you're always looking nice. Oh, but you're always looking nice. This hairstyle, it's the first time you're doing this hairstyle. Charlie, you're chill. You're chill. Why? What is what we need to do? Am I looking nice? Am I looking nice? How is this putting food on our table? Charlie, let's go. You are looking nice. Can we go? You won't get all this lovey-dovey thing that you get from a sanguine. As for sanguine, dear, if he or she has to kill you with flattery, you will get it. And that's exactly what you won't get from a choleric. And so they also seem to be sometimes rough-edged. Rough-edged. They are not your typical sweet person buying you rose and everything. I won't buy you rose. I won't tell you I love you. But trust me, at the end of the year, your Mercedes-Benz will be parked in front of your house. Yeah. And your Benz are now pay. I love you, ni rose in your mouth. How does that equate? And no be Benz is kebab is near the top Benz. We they talk kebab and the bra jai the top Benz. Amen. Please, are we learning? Yes. So they are quite clear in their communication. They also value efficiency and clarity in discussion, especially clarity in discussion. So if you want to have a conversation with a typical choleric, don't be beating about the bush. Don't embellish what you want to say. Just go straight to the point. Uncle, I think you may want to work on your bio. I say, I am stronger. As I say, the Spirit of the Lord has overshadowed you. So try and work on your bio. I catch you straight. You smell. You don't want your wife to beat. Go around. You smell. Work on it. Period. She doesn't know how to. Oh, uncle. Now I cover sample fraud. Now I cover example B. Now I talk gifts. I have gifts package. All of them. Deodorants and roll-on and body spray. I catch you. Or Connie baby. All right. So let's quickly jump on. Let's go to melancholics. I may need to rush pretty fast. Now, melancholic, yes, I know when the conversation is getting exciting. If you are not careful, you get carried away. Melancholics, their key attribute, they are thoughtful and analytical. Very thoughtful. They don't forget dates. They don't forget, details. When you and a melancholic are coming to fight, they will start by saying that first and foremost, this thing that you are talking about, 2018, September 5th, I remember it was raining. There was a taxi driver parking. So taxi driver no bought a banner. I didn't see all this step. This is a residential area. Yes, that day you were wearing that purple dress. That was when you told me this. That's a melancholic. No, tell me you haven't met people like that. Yeah. When they start talking, they come with details. And sometimes when something happens and they are talking about it, they don't know how to address that issue. They will go back to 10 years ago. Why you did the same thing. Then 7 years ago, you did the same thing. Then your friend saying 4 years ago, you did the same thing. And then last year, you did the same thing. This year, I said, what's a pattern? No. It was a pattern of 3. I said, what's a pattern? No. Cat's a lock. No, that's how they are. When you go to their rooms, orderly. I single-handedly parked from Lakeside to where we are alone. I can tell you, I know where everything is in my house. And so nobody picks anything that doesn't belong to them without telling me. Because I need to walk with you and go and see where you are putting it again. So otherwise, when you finish using it, you don't worry, bring it to me. I'll go and put it there. So that if I'm looking for my star screwdriver, I wouldn't go there and go and find scissors or flats, whatever they call it. I want star, and I want it here, because that's where I put it. If I want my sellotape to do anything in the house, I don't need to struggle. I just go. I know where my cellophane tape is. That's me. That's melancholics. If you come to my house, my sneakers are at one place. The sneakers, Converse, one place. Nike, one place. This, one place. My shoe, one place. Leather, brown, one place. Black, one place. Everything, pepe. If you check my wardrobe, my clothes, blacks are arranged. The color graduates. I'm orderly like that. I've lived in my house for 4 years. This December will be 5 years. I have a 3-year-old daughter. We haven't painted our hall before, and it is white. We haven't painted it before. So you can imagine if you are living with me, and you are all over the place. Me and you every day will go to your mother. Every day we'll go to your mother. All right, so let's go on. Please, I hope we are learning. Because you see, these are the things you are living with. Let me rush through. In fact, let me just rush through without the explanation, because it's important that we don't leave anything. Again, they are organized and detail-oriented. They are loyal and dependable. They are sensitive to their environment. I'm a very sensitive person. So, many of you who follows me on Facebook, you hardly see me outside taking pictures with people, because, Charlie, I may wonder if I've done something to you. Maybe yourself, you're carrying your own problem. And I'll go home for 2 years. I'll be thinking about the girl who was shaking my hands and she did something like that. And I always feel that I've done something to her. And I will be hurting. I keep my circles very small because I'm extremely sensitive. Now let's quickly look at their strengths. So their strength is they are thorough and meticulous, deeply caring, compassionate, strong sense of duty, commitment, excellent planners, organizers, intuitive and insightful. Their weakness, they can be overly critical or perfectionist. They can be overly, perfectionistic. Overly perfectionistic. All right. And they also have tendency towards pessimism and overthinking, because they are very self-critical. And then again, they can become easily overwhelmed or anxious sometimes. And then we struggle with expressing emotions sometimes. We value in communication in marriage, we value deep, meaningful conversation. We desire understanding and empathy from our partner. We sometimes overanalyze words and actions. We need assurance consistently. So if you are living with a melancholic and you are constantly not assuring them, they think you don't love them again. Intermediate, I love you, name your money. I attack catch me. I attack catch me. Me say open me. What can and then that's what now one can be not now answer. It's be a try na can. So if you are living with a melancholic, assurance. All right, let's quickly look at phlegmatic and then we'll move on, because our time is up. Mercy, Lord, and we have a whole world. Okay. So, the melancholics, they are calm and easygoing, patient, well-balanced. Melancholics are the very quiet ones. Always calm. The building is collapsing. People are running helter-skelter. They take their time. They pick their phone. They take their time. The building is collapsing. They are known to be chief procrastinators. Nobody's dying. Don't force me. I'll do it. I say I'll do it. So if you want them to do something for you today, you should have started reminding them in May. May, because nobody's dying. They are the people who sometimes come across like they are stonewalling you. You know, like you want information from them. They are hazy. The information is, pardon? Phlegmatics, yes. Their information is always straight to the point. They give you the bare essentials. So they are telling you how their day was. Oh, babe, so how was your day? Oh, the same. I did this, I did that, blah, 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 and I did this. Blah, blah, blah is about 6 hours of information that she doesn't think you need. She just cut it off and then she's moved on. They are always calm. They are the people who doesn't want to address conflicts and problems. If it means they will do some shakara and disappear till everything is fine, then they will come and pretend like nothing has happened, and then they start talking to you. They start smiling as if there's no problem that we need to address. That's how phlegmatics are. They would always love peace and avoid conflict. In communicating in marriage, we say that they seek peace and harmony in all discussions. They might hold back personal feelings to avoid conflict. They value mutual respect and understanding. They tend to be good listeners, but may not always voice their own opinion. And they need encouragement to express deeper feeling. All right, so let's quickly go on. Now, the next one is love language. So we understand how these different temperaments are making people behave differently. And it is out of this behavior that they are also communicating. You understand? So if you are dealing with a phlegmatic, it's not everything they will say. And then you are dealing with a melancholic, they will say everything. So you see, two people of this temperament live together, there will always be a problem. There will always be the potential for conflict. Let's move on. Love languages. Love language, this is based on the work by a doctor or professor called Gary Chapman. And he said that, we love through different means, but he created 5 different groups or 5 different means by which people love or express love. And then he said that there is the act of giving. People express love through giving. They express love through giving. So when they are giving you gifts, when they are showering you with gifts, that is them telling you they love you. Some people love through words of affirmation, or they express love through words of affirmation. So they are very vocal with their love and their thoughts and their feelings about how they feel about you. They will quickly talk about it. They will quickly verbalize it. Some also love through act of service. So that's your husband who is always dirty in the house, moving from one place to another place, cleaning, washing, making sure that things are done. Breakfast in bed. It's like all you have to do is to call him. Oh, John, I beg you, I left this, please. And I'm in a meeting, I can't worry no more. I'm going to pick it for you. There are some people like that. There are some women like that. Extremely serviceable. But they might not say anything else to show they love you. That is them telling you they love you. All the sweat, all the up and downs, all the going, all of that. It is their love language to you. Okay. Now there are those whose love language is quality time. Quality time. Stay in the house with me. Friday night. Babe, don't go anywhere. Saturday night. Babe, can we just stay in there? Let's Netflix and chill. Oh, babe, I need to go to the office and go and do something. Speak no more. I am picking my iPad. I have my Wi-Fi with me. Don't worry, I won't use your office Wi-Fi. Let's just go to your office. You can work. I just sit somewhere and then watch my Netflix. I just want that quality time with you. The time may not be quality, but then at least I am in your space. You understand? They always want to be close to you. When they do that, that is them telling you they love you. Then there are those whose love language is physical touches. Public display of affection. That physical touches. When people are doing that, that shows that that's their love language. Some of them want to be loved through the same means. So as they're doing it for you, the desire or expectation is that you return it. Some may not necessarily do it, expect you to do it for them. But they also have their own means they want to be loved. As a married couple, you need to know what your partner's love language is so that they don't bring you an expensive perfume. You take it and you thank them. You were watching TV when he brought it. You put it on the coffee table, and then for 3 months, the thing is there. And then he's upset. He's hurt. Because he spends so much money buying you things that other women will somersault and do other things I can't say here. Just because they got a gift. But you, I do all these things for you. And you don't show appreciation. And the woman is thinking, you always think that what I want is for you to shower me with gifts. What I need is for you to be home and help me. So she's looking for a love language in the act of service. That's what I want. And the man is thinking, so why didn't you tell me? Well, because I guess, you never asked. And in any case, I keep telling you that I need you to help me. I need you to help me. For some people, they'll tell you that my love language, what I want to hear from you is I love you. You go out, every time you go and you come back, you bring me gifts. But you never say I love you. I don't even know what the gifts are from or what they are for. Know your partner's love language. Sometimes this is weird. Sometimes the reasons people put out for their discomfort in their marriage, you listen to it and you think, people too can be some way. But you see, that is who they are. That is how they are wired. Learn it and do it for them. Simple. Your partner wants you to physically be touching them. Learn it. Your partner wants you to spend quality time with them. Choose a day in a week and say that this day I block everything on my calendar. Let's spend 5 hours together. No phone, no this, no this, no this. Let's talk. If you can do that, you have a happy home. You can buy all the houses in the world, but if that's not what your partner wants, it will never be appreciated. Then the last one on the biological foundations is the hormonal difference. Men and women, we are different hormonally, right? How many of us know that? Who knows the main female hormone in charge of sex drive, emotions, and everything? Who knows the name? Estrogen, good. And then the one for the man, who knows the name? Exactly. Now, from the time a woman gets into puberty and all these hormones start, there are series of emotions that she will go through, mood that she will go through, hormonal whatever that she will go through. I mean, there is the 2 or 3 or 4 days before your time of the month, right? You have something they call PMS, premenstrual syndrome, right? Sometimes for some people it is mild, nothing. You don't even know it till they know that it's time of the month. For some people too, it's extreme crankiness, extreme irritability. Hey, don't touch me. It's like, this woman that is very nice and very pleasant. All of a sudden I say, "Otutu phone mommy." When I say, she doesn't want to talk. Then all of a sudden she stops. If you don't know some of these little things, you wouldn't even understand that what she's doing. Sometimes she doesn't even understand what she's doing. She's not in charge. She woke up in the day and she doesn't feel like she wants to talk to somebody. That's the hormones. Then there is the time of the month. Then there is some few days, and then there is the ovulation. Ovulation, maybe you are living with a woman who doesn't want to have sex plenty. You always have to beg, do all sorts of skirmishes to get one. But you know, for most people, because the body is wired in such a way, the ovulation is where the eggs are released, right? Please, if you're a medical person here and I'm saying nonsense, please correct me. You know, it's during ovulation that the eggs are released for fertilization, right? Good. And so naturally, the body is wired for the woman to want to have sex. You get what I mean? Because the eggs have been released, the desire should come for us to have sex, for pregnancy to take place. And so during that time, for the average woman, horniness or their libido or the desire to have sex goes up a little bit. But for some women too, it is through the roof. Some women, it's actually even during menstruation. Like, it's through the roof. So can you imagine you're married to a woman who you always have to struggle to have sex with her. But when it's time of the month, during ovulation, she's like all over you. She's like, naturally, if you are not careful, you would think that she's trying to manipulate you. It is like when she wants to have sex, that's when she comes to you. But when you want to have sex, she doesn't want to give you sex. It's very easy to confuse it. Again, there is a period, the first trimester of pregnancy. A lot of women go through, some considerable transformation because the body itself is adjusting to the changes that is taking place. Now you have all these hormones. I mean, a woman who would spray the most loveliest of perfume will tell you, no, take it away. Even her makeup, now she doesn't want to smell it because it makes her nauseous. Some women walk around with a bottle spitting every 2 minutes. I mean, they can't go to the bathroom every 2 minutes, so now the bottle is with them. Like, they go through a lot. 2 a.m., babe, I want to eat that wache at Medina. Baby needs your baby wache. You know, sometimes it's like at night, this woman sleeps with air conditioner that is around, room temperature of about 25 degrees. Now she wants it at 16. Hey, it goes through a lot, right? Then there is the period after pregnancy, the postpartum period. Sometimes it is mild and she's fine. Sometimes it goes from baby blues all the way to postpartum psychosis. You know, where it's so extreme, sometimes the women attempt to kill themselves or kill the baby. You understand? And sometimes too, you know, it's just mild to being not there. So if you are a woman here, or if you're a man here and your wife delivers, and within the first few weeks to maybe a month or two or whatever, there is that apprehension, there is that anxiety, there is that fear, on the inexplicable crying. And you know, things that are a little bit out of character, especially around her, towards the baby and all of that, you may just get a medical help. Let a doctor or a trained, I'm not a psychologist, I am not. So get a psychologist, a trained psychologist to diagnose if it is. And then medication administered, because it is believed that if it is not, that is if it should be, if medicine should be given, because sometimes counseling gets it done. It is believed that if it's not managed well, it becomes full-blown depression in adult life. So women go through all of that. But for us, and it continues to menopause. Every month, series of hormonal whatever. But when it comes to us men, from the time your semen, you reach puberty and all these things started growing in you till you reach your mid-40s, you are, you know, touch response. Nothing changes in you. So you see, it's very easy for you to not understand why your wife is behaving in a particular way. She wakes up in the morning, she doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to get out of bed. She doesn't want to talk to you. No, it's equal pie. You don't understand why. You are lazy, you are this. No. You may want to understand what is happening in her body. So sometimes, you know, just cut them slack. I'm not saying that women, ladies, I'm not saying that use that to excuse bad behavior. No, use that to perpetuate bad behavior. And for you men, I'm not saying that use that to excuse bad behavior. If you realize that she is taking advantage of that, find solution to it. I nearly said take her to her mom, but I can't say that. Amen. So these are the biological foundation. Let's quickly go to the social foundation. Yes, I need to rush through. Let's go to the social foundation. I think I got carried away with the temperament. But that is good because that's a key area that a lot of people have no idea what it is. Okay, let's go to the social side. So the social side, we are looking at parenting styles. The way a person is parented or raised has a way of shaping the way they communicate. There is authoritarian parenting, obey before complain, the military style of raising children in the house. I'm sure you are familiar with it. When your parents talk, you don't talk. When it comes from your parents, it is what it is. Yes, sir, master. You don't have any opinion. People raised in such families, sometimes they grow up to become adults who lack initiative. Because growing up, they've been made to understand that you don't need to do anything. Anything that has to be done, we will tell you. So we order. You take the order and act on it. You don't have an opinion. You're a child. Adia penny me former mihuno o from mango dia kwa hu me no kasa was na that to iPhone chame iPhone Techno. What's the difference? Can they all make phone calls? Me to Techno ma on pa to twene. The other side is that they also grow up sometimes to also be people who struggle with authority. There is the lack of initiative because they've been raised not to do anything for themselves, not to think. The other one is they struggle with authority because anytime an authority figure speaks to them, it reminds them of their childhood if the person instructs them. So your husband picks the phone and calls you, oh, babe, now, where are you? It's kind of late. I thought you said you were buying something and you're coming. Hey, how dare you talk to me like that? What is it? Every time I go out, you are following me. Why? Didn't you meet me in Accra? Wasn't it this Accra that we met and married? Why? When you met me, I didn't know Accra. People were following me with stick. Are you serious? Why are you always calling me and finding out where I am? Stop that. I hate that. It's because it triggers some bad memories. Again, that is not to say that in all experiences it is so. Some people are just irresponsible and they lack accountability. So they will do anything to make sure that they are not accountable to you. But for some people, you may want to go back into their childhood, see how they were raised. There is also the permissive parenting. Under the permissive parenting, we have the neglectful and indulgent. Indulgent parents are parents who overindulge their children. You know that. Everything a child wants, they give it to you. They pamper you, they overindulge you. And then there are parents who are also neglectful. They are not even around. If you ask them at 10 p.m., where is your 12-year-old son? They don't know. The most important thing is I've gone to work, I've come back home, the house is intact. It hasn't bent. Such people grow up, the overindulged ones, they grow up lacking delayed gratification. Because they were overindulged. If they want something, they want it now. So your husband comes home with the latest iPhone that was launched, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. Babe, where did you get this money? Oh, the rent money. Oh, but instead of rent, they are cut 2 months. We'll figure it out. It's like they can't prioritize. When they want something, they want it now. They don't care about the consequences. They will spend the child's school fees without thinking twice because they saw a jacket they like. They will buy it and go and figure out how we are going to get the money to pay the school fees. And for some of them, and we see them, a lot of young boys, they will do anything for clouds. They will do anything to drive in Benz, drive in range, live in posh neighborhoods. They are paid 10,000 Ghana cedis a month. Their mortgage is 6,000. Car loan, 3,000. 1,000. After 1 week, no call accountants or beji overdrafts. Living above their means. Because growing up, they were not taught delayed gratification. We don't have the money. We won't buy it for you. Their mothers will sell their bosso to buy it for them. So growing up, they think that everything should be available when we snap a finger. And you are married to one of them. Your wife, she's always complaining she's broke. But she has a lot more bags than the boutique at East Legon. We have said it. Then there is those who are also from permissive parenting, abandoned, neglected. They're just living on their own. Man of God, how many extra na esba come home? Some I can say. Then there is a permissive parenting. A child from a permissive parented home grows up to be, neglectful. Neglectful is a subset of the permissive. The neglectful home, they grow up to take charge of themselves at a very early age. Because your parents are not there. Your dad is a banker, goes home and comes home at 8, goes to work and comes home at 8 o'clock. Your mother is a trader. So Charlie, you need to be up and going. So by 16 years, they are adults, making lifelong decisions for themselves, for their siblings, and for the family. Preparing their own meals, choosing their own universities and everything. Now we are married. And you expect that if I want to start a business, I need to come and think with you. If I want to buy something with my own hard-earned cash, I need to come and think with you. So you see, you are married to a man who doesn't consult you before they do anything. Sometimes you are wondering, where is this coming from? Try and see how they grew up. They have been lone rangers. Lone rangers. He just picks his phone, picks his laptop bag, and then he's on the road, hustling, trying to make ends meet. And so, he's used to making decisions. There are a lot of men, they marry and they are still boys. They marry and they are still boys because it is out of that place that they get a lot of things. The boys, let's go and sit at this pub. Let's drink, let's talk. Before they are done, some business deal will come up. So they marry and they can't separate themselves. There are women like that. And that even becomes a lot more problematic. Because the African man, again, like I said earlier, they want to be part of your life. They want to control you. They want to be involved. Sometimes it becomes very difficult. Now, let's look at the most appropriate parenting style that psychologists would say is the best. Authoritative. I talked about authoritarian. Now there is authoritative. Authoritative is more of the banter, give and take kind of parenting style. Parents share their thoughts. Children may have an opinion. They say it. Parents will use Ajahn Kessie to have their way. Like they say, staff members will have their say, but management will have their way. As for management, they will always allow you to talk. But the final decision, we will know. So that's what authoritative parents are. Now they listen to the children. And sometimes the children make a lot of sense. So we take a step back and we listen to them. If a child wants something, a child comes, I want PlayStation 5. Yeah, that's fine. Make sure that this year you come on top in your class, A, in all your subjects, and you will get it. A, they make all the A's, you buy it for them. So there is a responsibility that is attached to everything they get. So you see, they grow up being well-rounded. They are used to having exchanges with their parents, not negative exchange. So they don't fear negotiating with their spouse. You are broke, you are broke. I mean, African men don't want to admit they are broke because it's an ego thing. But I should be to tell her, Auntie, cash in a bini ho, what share Gucci way I'm here. Ya cash me cash am and we me free about 6 months. Until every month be 200 Ghana cedis. Me need casa. You should be able to tell your spouse you are broke. You understand? And they know how to negotiate. They know how to negotiate with their own children, negotiate with their spouse, negotiate in every area of life. Because that's the home they grew up in. They were not made to feel that penny kasa and one on kebi. You understand? And so if you are married to a person from that background, you are likely to experience this. Now let's talk about community. The community you also grew up in also shapes your communication. Like I said, you grew up in a very violent, aggressive area. You are married. Hey, where is John? John, when I said and coffee papa me be who say we a responsible man. There's a woman like that. They can't fight in the room. It has to go out. We hook bemano. Me say them show they do bro. Yeah, there's a woman like that. And there's a woman too, oh babe. Listen, I am sorry. I didn't. Not even the children. Sometimes there is a child even in the room. But the two of them are sitting at the other side of the bed. And they can talk because of where they are coming from. I counseled a couple. One is sanguine and comes from a portion of Accra that is known for parties and street pubs every 2 seconds. It's not Dansuman. But if you've ever been to Dansuman, you know what I'm talking about. Dansuman, every corner be an party. And the guy is melancholic and was raised in a very cohesive nuclear family. So he is organized, ordered, calm, and quiet. And Teto, and even if you're having pillow talk, it's hard. But it is not their fault. We were raised up in this community, in this environment. And so it's, you see, that is conditioning. That is conditioning. There is a reason why dogs are able to eventually do some of the things we tell them to do. There's a reason why kids learn language. It's called conditioning. The more you do something repetitively, you are conditioned. I mean, how many of us drive and keep tabs of every corner you turn? Sometimes you get home and you ask yourself, how did I even get here? I don't remember I passed in front of Malcolm. Because the mind has conditioned itself to internalize the roots. So sometimes you are not even conscious about what you are doing. You are just doing it because you've been conditioned. And so the community you grew up in can also lead to that. And the final thing that I will talk about is your education and your spirituality. Obviously, if you grew up in a rich neighborhood, you are likely to go to a good school. If your parents are wealthy, you are likely to go to a good school. In that good school, you are likely to meet other wealthy people. I mean, if you went to, say, let's say GIS or Lincoln or Al Ryan, I mean, you're not going to meet people who are coming from. You people who do that, and I'll mention a name. Yeah, no, you won't meet those people there. You won't. And they are not also living in those neighborhoods. You understand? You're going to meet ministers' children, business tycoons, business owners, executives, Trasaco, Roman Ridge, airport, cantonment. So you can imagine the kind of quality conversation these children are having. And it reflects in their lives as they become adults. And in their marriage, you find quality when they are talking. I'm not talking about those people who, even when you send them to heaven, they will still become something else. And then we have also those who also grew up in a certain area. When they open their mouth to talk, you want to have a conversation with your wife about something important. No, immediately you pause to swallow saliva. No, hey, me say and there, kunkumaja na na yesha no me say, kunkumaja kwani your friend sing no me say. Because she is lost. She can't relate. When I talk about Silicon Valley, I, FI equals. When I go to University, I want to go to school, Papa. Me university no cry spell you say university papa say obi fie na ye call you, we don't know. So education will eventually influence the way a person talks. Again, spirituality. I mean, Church of Pentecost in here and a 7-day Adventist in here. And they're having conversation around sex. It's very proper, full of euphemism and, mellowed expression. And then we too, the charismatic, and we too, the Catholics, and we too, the open-minded people. So you find out that those who come from a particular religious background, they are sexually restricted sometimes. Conversations around sex, sexual encounters, they are very proper. That different sex positions. Hey, no, this is ungodly. Nah, this is beneath me. Nah, this humiliates me. No, I can't do that. So even that influences their conversation, because we can be married for 10 years and we can't have conversation around sex. Meanwhile, the thing to the B. I will say, come one sem. Now we'll step it up. But you can't, because that conversation will bring you to your can now, Papa. This early morning that you wake up, we just finished our Bible studies, it shapes it. Amen. Please, let's move on. So, let's say that all these will help you understand the uniqueness of your partner. And it is important that you know who your partner is, so that when they are behaving in a particular way, you just don't jump to conclusion. Hold them so high and measure them against standards that they can't even relate with. Try and understand where your partner is coming from, and you can understand a lot of the things. That's why people who are very educated, very circumspective, who are well-traveled and open-minded, they don't talk much. You start talking and they realize that this is nonsense. They just excuse themselves because they know where this conversation is going. This argument you started. But those of us who don't know anything, we argue with you from morning till evening. We don't even realize that we are arguing, we are wasting our time. Please, let's go on. This one, mention. Verbal communication, that is what I'm doing. We are trying to look at types of communication. Now we are coming into communication. Verbal communication, that's what I'm doing. Non-verbal communication, let's put that on a hold for a moment. Written communication, any communication that is put in text, whether it's handwritten, whether it's typed, whatever, it's all written. And then visual. So visual could be symbolic. So symbols like hand gestures, Dinkra signs, cultural symbols, pop cultural symbols like emojis and the rest. They are all forms of communication, because you all communicate something. You send somebody an emoji, they understand what it means. There are some hand gestures. When you do them, people understand what it means. There are Dinkra signs. When you put them anywhere around your house, people know what it means. You are communicating. Just that it's not verbal, it's visual. Please. Oh, and then there is a non-verbal. So the non-verbal is a chunk of our communication, or it features in a chunk of our communication. Or as people say, we communicate a lot more through non-verbal means. So the non-verbal is your body language. As I am talking to you, if I wasn't interested in what I am doing, I'm sure some of you will be like, na guy, they'll be forcing no make us na. And you can make that decision based on just my body language. And then you can also walk away and say, hey guy, energy, papa. Now you didn't see the way he was jumping on the stage, moving from this place to this. You could have talked from morning till evening. How did you know that? By just watching my body language. You can walk into somebody's shop and say that this shop, I'll never come here again. Nobody caned you. Nobody said anything. The prices were good. Now the shop attendant, you're talking to the girl. The girl is on her phone. Oh, young girl, I'm talking to you. I was asking, oh, ma, please, the price is there. Can you do something about the price? I'm sorry, this is a boutique. The price is standard. Do you have another variation of this color? No, that's what we have. Everything you see is what we have. We don't have some anywhere. All right, thank you. You can go to another shop. They say another attendant will be like, oh, can't you reduce it? Or how much is it? Oh, ma, price, the price is here. Let me show you. Yeah, it's here. Can't you reduce it? Oh, ma, in this place, we don't reduce some of these things and everything. Don't you have any color variation? No, unfortunately, we ran out of stock. Everything you see here is what we have. Oh, okay. I'll come tomorrow, okay. All right. No, wait. Don't come tomorrow. Next week, they are bringing you consignments. You can come next week. Okay, sure. You see, these two people said exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. But you've made up your mind that you won't go back to the other person, because the entire time she treated you as if you are doing her a favor by coming to buy from her shop. Whereas for the other person, she was very excited. So this is body language, communicating a million times. So your partner thinks you don't respect, and you are struggling to come to terms with the fact that I don't respect. What do you mean by I don't respect? But you don't. We see it in your body language. I'm talking to you, you are walking away. When I talk to you, you nod with your head. Oh, babe, I'm talking to you. Yeah, but I'm listening. Oh, but you are not. Oh, but do I have to look at you? I'm listening with my ear. Like there's so many body language that you put up and it hurts your partner. And if your partner is melancholic, their hurts double because they're very sensitive to body language. So let's watch these things. Now let's move on. Sorry, please. Let's go back quickly. So when to use this? Now, there are some, you need to know your partner, okay? You need to know your partner, and you need to know their communication style. So one of the areas I tell you not to use text is in arguments. Okay? Never text with your partner during arguments, or don't text in an argument. That's like the text is the medium of the argument, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so you are arguing over text. Yes, you're arguing over WhatsApp. What happens is that everybody is quick. Everybody wants to quickly share their thoughts. So typographical errors is very high. Sometimes you finish and realize that the can, you wrote can't, and it changes the meaning of what you said. Or the can't, you wrote can. And have you done those arguments and you finish and read what you've written and you don't even understand what you wrote? And sometimes you're wondering whether your partner understood it. Again, text messages, they are tone deaf. So sometimes you can be cracking a joke or you are being sarcastic. But the person is reading it in your angry voice, and they assume you are angry. Again, your partner will tell you, maybe it's a long distance relationship, or maybe you are not married, you are in a relationship, or maybe you are married but you are living apart because of work. You text your partner, babe, how was your day? Oh, it was okay. Maybe she's crying, but she can't type everything, so she says it's okay and send you an emoji blowing you a kiss. Chances are that you go and sleep, right? Thinking everything is fine. But you're on the phone. If you were on the phone and you heard her voice, you know that things are not okay. So I will encourage that don't fight with your partner through arguments, through text. However, there are some partners too, they won't allow you to talk if you decide to do verbal. The women, they'll start crying right now. Hey, John, how can you use such expression on me? So that's what you're trying to say. So this marriage, this relationship, all this, this is how you see me. I won't say anything and she'll start crying. Then you forget the problem and you start apologizing and start calming. By the time you are done, the problem wasn't addressed. She has won. You have lost. If you realize that that's how your wife is, or that's a man, the essence, how dare you talk to me like that? Don't you know I'm the man? I'm the head of this family. Show me some respect. You, my little sister is even older than you. How dare you talk to me like that? If you can't change your voice, don't come and talk to me. Obwa Takashi. Only argument biya. Those people, all you do is to send them a lengthy email. Not WhatsApp. Email. Type it, sleep over it, wake up, emotions would have gone down. You are in a better position to do proper editing. Remove all unnecessary expressions and everything, paragraph by paragraph, each paragraph headed, nice, and send it to them. They can scream behind their computer for all you care. They will read it. And they will understand where you are coming from. But that means that you should also be somebody who knows how to articulate your thoughts. Because sometimes when we are angry, our thought is all over the place. You are saying one thing here, you jump, and then, especially when they keep interjecting, you keep losing your thoughts. So you keep bringing up new topics. But if you do that without those interventions, you take your time, you communicate to them. Again, sometimes you are very upset about something that you came to see in the house. But there are guests there. The children are there. Let your body language do the talking. Don't say anything. The mere fact that you come from work, you hug your spouse, and then you give them a kiss. By this time you hug them, you didn't give them a kiss. They will know that something is wrong. Then they will follow you quietly to the bedroom. Babe, everything right. But you have told you. You have told you. These kids, they don't leave them in the hall unattended. Can you imagine? See how dirty the place is. Assuming I came in with a guest. It would have been very embarrassing. We talk about this, don't. I'm sorry. I was busy doing this. They were crying. They wouldn't give me peace of mind. And I told them to come downstairs. But I get you. It won't happen again. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's a man or it's a woman. Anybody who came and saw that the place is messy, sometimes that's how you go about it. See, sometimes you get so angry that your words can cut. So you know when to hold your tongue and you know when to communicate with text or something. All right, please let's go on. Our 10 minutes is up. I'm eating into your question time, which means that your question and answer. Okay, now let's quickly look at nuances in communication. What is said? Now, you need to understand the importance of choice of words. Importance of the choice of words. They can cut deep. So watch it. Secondly, how it was said. The impact of tone, body language, and facial expression. So it is the non-verbal aspect that I was talking about. It is the how. So you see, people always say that, but I didn't insult him. But I didn't say anything that is disrespectful. No, it is not. But it was the how. It was the how. The how you said it made it sound so disrespectful. Where was it said? The importance of space, context, and environment. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. If you are talking to someone, always have that at the back of your mind. That where you say what matters. Your spouse has been complaining. You know your spouse has a problem with her weight. She's not comfortable. After the baby, she's put on 10 kilos. And this was a size 10 woman. Max, size 12. Right now, she's size 14 going on 16. She's so uncomfortable. You go somewhere to meet other girls and boys, family, couples, gather. Tiffany shows up. Hey girls, look at me. I'm looking good. I got slimming TB now. Now you know your wife is not comfortable by her size. The last thing you want to say is, oh babe, why don't you ask Tiffany for the tea? Uncle, it is not what you said though. It is where you said it. This is a round table full of all my friends. You know I'm struggling with my weight. You know I'm so uncomfortable about my weight. And you chose to remind me that I'm fat in front of my friends. You will smell pepper. You will chop pepper. So it's not so sometimes you don't understand why your spouse is angry about a joke you cracked. No. It is where you crack the joke. This is in front of my boss. My boss doesn't know me in this line. This joke you crack is a very lewd, dirty joke. We crack it among ourselves when we are alone. Come on, you need to know where to play. And so it can lead into a fight. Where you said. And then when? Time. They say that when you have a problem with your spouse, wake them at 4 a.m. and discuss it. Me, I sleep at 2 a.m. So you see, we are going to have a big problem if you attempt to wake me at 4 a.m. to discuss a problem. Because I would have slept for just 2 hours. Don't call me to discuss marital issues during working hours. Because when I'm at work, I'm at work. I have 2 hours from the time I close to the time I start my evening counseling. Within the 2 hours, we can talk about it. I have about 4 hours from 9 p.m. till I sleep at 1 a.m. During that period, we can talk about it. So look for a time that is convenient for me and is convenient for you, and let's talk about it. Don't just randomly pick some stereotype. They say you can wake your spouse at 3 a.m. So 3 a.m., baby, sorry, na yem bon komo. I don't ask some, no sorry, na yem kan. Hey, brother. Uncle ye mom. You know, so the timing. Please, let's quickly go on. Our time is up. Barriers to effective communication. So first and foremost, we talked about the fact that your spouse is unique, right? And it is in this uniqueness that you find the barriers. Because a person is different from you. So they can never communicate effectively to suit you under every circumstance. Sometimes their hormones will kick in. And they feel like they should give you a cranky answer. Deal with it. Sometimes their temperament just makes them who they are. You can help shape them. We can attempt to mold them. But you can't change people's temperament. So you would always clash. I've made my peace with that, with my wife. I've made my peace. Hey, come in your high blood pressure. With me, I was all kind of calm. My wife is very calm. Very calm. She's not even on social media. She's not. She's just on Instagram just so that she can buy things. You know, those small Instagram shops. She doesn't. Very calm, very laid back, very chilled. But why not dream? Unless Jesus. So you need to understand that's what it is. Love language. you and your partner keep having problems. It is not that the person is necessarily bad. Probably the two of you are speaking different love languages. So you master it, you have your peace of mind. Let's look at some of the social factors. We talked about upbringing. Charlie. Where she grew up, it was a compound bathroom. Nothing. No tile. Then you go and put this woman in a house where every corner of the house is white tiled. Then she will walk outside with the dirty slippers and walk straight into your bathroom. Now, Okuma. Because really, you didn't realize that this is white. And it is like the most annoying part is that they are so conceited, they are short of their ways. You people, you are the beast. You are not raised well. You think you know armor. Let me tell you, the food, it is the way you prepare it like this. That's where the taste is. Apotoyua ni enchuchim. We pay no washi. They just put it there. You know apotoyua? How do you call apotoyua? Earthenware bowl. Like everything is some backward whatever. But that's who she is. And you should understand that. And then religion. We've talked about that. And past experience and prejudice. If you've told some truth to your partner and it's blown up in your face, will you tell him or her truth another time? No. So let me leave this important message on this one. Be careful how you receive information your spouse gives you. Be careful. Your response will determine whether they can trust you with other information or not. Okay. All right, please let's move on. Hi. The things are plenty, but this one, dear, quick. Conflict management. All right. So now, like we said, because again we are unique, and because we also have limits and barriers to effective communication, conflict will be a natural consequence. They say conflict is the concomitance of social interaction. Conflict is the concomitance of social interaction. Now, when we talk about conflict, whenever there is conflict, some way, somehow, we have to resolve the conflict. The first thing, or the first stage in conflict resolution is finding a good time to talk about it. Finding a good time to talk about it. So again, like I said, always choose the right time. What is convenient for you, what is convenient for your partner, and talk about it. And then sit and talk. There is a serious issue we need to discuss. Don't be walking around. You see, don't be walking around. Don't be distracted. Don't be doing other things. Sometimes it doesn't communicate respect. I am busily talking to you. I've stopped everything. I understand you are cooking or whatever. Maybe I should have also known better to pick an appropriate time. But if I have picked a bad time, and you know it is a bad time for you, just tell me that, babe, I'm in the middle of something. I would want us to sit and have this conversation, and I can't do that now. Can we do that? Maybe give me 3 hours. Let me finish and come back. Okay, let's find a time to sit and talk. Again, compromise. You can't always have it your way. So you're not going into the conflict to win. You should be willing to give some grounds. If you are not willing to compromise, then there's no point coming to arbitration. Again, listen to understand. The idea is not to listen to respond. Most often than not, the problem with us is that we don't listen to understand. And because you don't understand where your partner is coming from, you keep talking. Sometimes all you have to do is to keep quiet for the woman to finish that 2-minute rant. And you realize that she has a point. Just keep quiet for the guy to finish that 5-minute rant. And you will know that he has a point. When the person is talking, try and understand where they are coming from. Don't be interested and fixated on individual words and their choices of words and their phrases and everything. When people are angry, they are angry. Again, let me also say that is not a justification for you to be disrespectful and be rude and be abusive and choose inappropriate words. Because ultimately, when all of this is resolved, you still want to go back to the person. You still want to eat the person's food. You still want to share fellowship with the person. So we choose our words carefully. But ultimately, let us learn to listen to understand. What is my partner really trying to say? And then discuss the conflict and not personality. Most often than not, that's what we do. As something that then you're attacking your spouse. You are attacking the way they dress. You are attacking their cooking. You are attacking their manner. You are attacking everything because you are angry. No. Focus on the issue and deal with it. And again, avoid blame game. Avoid blame game. Now let's go to fighting fair. Then we are almost done. Keep your cool. We need to fight fair. Let's keep our cool. Okay? I mean, what's up with anger? Okay? Yeah. Focus on the issue. It's very, very important. Avoid hitting below the belt. Your spouse may have shared a very confidential information with you. They are not comfortable. Maybe when you met your wife, due to life's hardships and everything, there was a big man somewhere who was sponsoring something she's not happy about, something she's not proud about. It's embarrassing as it is. She went ahead to tell you so that you don't get to hear it that that big man that has always been an uncle in her life apparently wasn't an uncle. Just telling you everything. Or your husband is telling you the kind of things that he's done just to get by. These are things that people told you at the point of vulnerability. Don't use it against them. And as I would say, I can't say and a big man, they be a big man, and I can't tell them your boss said, and your boss is praising your hair. Make sure you don't go and sleep with your boss, because that's for you. Seems like you have the capacity to do that. What can you giant channel? I mean, and you expect that such a woman will ever open her mouth to tell you anything again? Forget it. And so a lot of us men have shot ourselves in the foot. A lot of us women have shot ourselves in the foot. So your husband is not telling you stuff that they used to tell you. You may want to know why. Maybe you didn't receive it well. Maybe you didn't act on it well. The Bible says that the man and the woman, they were naked and not ashamed. You should learn that. All right. Then the final thing. Yes. Okay. So avoid jumping to conclusion. Please, give your partner the chance to talk. Give them the chance. Don't, in the middle of the sentence, don't jump to conclusion. You haven't heard from them. You called them 3 times. They didn't pick their phone. Don't assume that she is with AC Ama and start fighting with him in your head. Immediately the call came through. No, hey, you are done. How is your girlfriend? She's okay. Simply because you called him and he didn't pick up. You have assumed and jumped to conclusion. All right, let's quickly look at minimizing future conflict. Avoid picking on your spouse every second you get. No, stop. Stop. Avoid it. It will always lead to conflict. Avoid it. Spend quality time together. You see, the more you spend time, the more you build a good relationship or you build a solid friendship. And I mean, who wants to always be fighting with their gossip and gist partner? No, you don't want to do that. You always want peace so that the gossip can flow, the gist can flow. You know, you can tell them, oh, go and buy me this, go and buy your baby, let's go here, let's do this, let's do this. You can't do that with someone you're always fighting with. So the more you build a closer relationship, the easier it becomes for you to build that kind of environment where conflict is minimized. And learn the language of appreciation. Learn the language of appreciation. The more you appreciate your spouse, the less room that will be left for criticism. Okay? When your partner does something good, appreciate them. Little things, big things, appreciate them. And try and, in some marriage, good news is no news. It's only bad news. So when a woman or a man opens their mouth, it is to criticize you. It gets to a point, your partner builds resistance. Or blocking the ear, no? Or it will pass here and come out from here. Avoid needless criticisms. And allow your spouse to make their own mistakes. Please. You see, sometimes the cause of a lot of our problems is because you are trying to be preventative. Baby, don't you know that these boys, if they're always your friends, they will disrespect you. And don't you know this? Don't you know that? So we are always acting preemptively. But you see, your partner doesn't appreciate where you are coming from. So it always leads to conflict because in their mind, you are trying to control them. Please, sometimes allow the guy to get lost. You are giving him direction. He says he knows the place. Keep quiet and sit in the car. But let them understand the consequences of their actions. Let them understand that, listen, I'm trying to tell you that these women that you think they are not a threat to this marriage, and therefore you would want to do anything and go everywhere with them, trust me, they are a threat. You may wear your wedding ring and you think that they respect the band, but they don't. Let me tell you this. If something should happen, if I should ever find out that something has happened between you and any of them, this and this and this is what I will do. I won't talk about this issue again. And just allow your husband to be. If he's somebody who thinks, he will process the things that you said. If he doesn't, he will keep on in his ways. Let your wife also know the same thing. Whatever it is that is the problem, let your wife understand that, listen, I'm not happy with these things that you keep doing. Please, going forward, I'm not going to talk about it. But, you are positioning me or putting me in a place where I may act in a way that is untoward, in a way that is not proper. And I will expect that, please, learn some of these things and let's not get in this space. Just talk about it and leave her. But if every single time you want to control her, where are you? Who are you talking to? Where did you go to? Let me see your phone and everything. No. You will actually facilitate the problem that you are trying to avoid. And then finally, avoid negative influences on your marriage. There are some people, anytime you meet them, you go home and fight with your spouse. Yeah, family members. Some of your friends who don't want you to be married. Hey, no. 9:30, the wife has started calling. Hey, well, wife, you're controlling you. Ben McKentinga, every now and then your wife is calling and then you are running. So gradually you get angry. Whenever you are out there and your wife calls, no, then you're upset because of what your friends will say. So you come home now, and when I go, I don't be calling me. Do you know how embarrassing it is? Who said that my other colleagues, their wives are calling them left, right, center? What is this? Am I a child? No, you are not angry because she called you. You are angry because of the people who saw the phone call. Yeah. Your family members. Ma, me say me kwasra kojo. Unim so no yibola no. No yibola no pra ni yirifie. For be man kentin kan imposition imposo gina o ye washing. I wash it in your washing machine where you from now or hanta ne yere dross or hanta. People like that, cut them out of your life because they always instigate, they trigger a certain ego in you and it forces you to do what you don't want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry I took your time. I went beyond. This is a 6-hour program that I've had to sound in 1 hour 30 minutes. So please forgive me. I am done. Man of God, do we still get to take questions or these children of God have to go home?
Let your appreciation be reflected in your applause. Wow. How many would like to see PG again? Please be seated. Let's just appreciate the amazing thoughts that have been shared. Let me share some interesting thoughts from our online audience for you. I think that this program is equally matched boot for boot by the in-person as well as the online audience. So I promised the online audience that I'll share their comments before we close. So on the issue of temperaments, PG Abeko Asari says, I have all the things you're talking about, so which one am I? Nilante Lamte says, powerful message. Ekwa Odroya Boa says, PPD, that is postpartum depression, is real. It leads to Great Depression. Selinam Lutrot says, love this, thanks to the organizers. JJ Hagan says, SDF4, we beg you. And then Nick Fafa says, this is $1 million session. If you agree with our online audience, why don't you put your hands together? It's been a beautiful session. We've loved every minute of it. And MPJ, thank you so much. Promise that you'll come back again. We'll definitely do this again and have another wonderful time. Let's take our offering. Our offerings are lined up here. Let's just walk over and drop them. And we'll just do our giveaway in a minute. And then we'll be done for today. Absolutely amazing. While Joshua's on the keyboard, please walk up and drop your offering in the basket. Just to remind all of us that next week we have another blast. It's happening the whole month of September. Next week, Amos Kelvin Annan is back for another session. Invite your family, invite your friends, invite your loved ones. Let's have another great time together. This whole month is dedicated to the family and I'm excited that you make time to come every single week. God bless you so much. Thank you all so much. God bless you. All right, one more thing before we go. It's always a promise. PG, next time bring your book so we can give out some giveaways. We like giveaways in this house. We always end our seminar with a giveaway. So when we close, we'll host for those in person only. We'll host PG for half an hour. So if you have questions that you'd like answered, he'll be available. Is that not a good idea? Let's put our hands together. All right. So let me give out a few books. We encourage a reading church. And today, when Professor Adair came here, he mentioned one of my books that he said he thought was a good one. So we went for Kapat and I wrote a book on Joseph called Zaphnatpania. So we went to find one copy of that book. So if you have not read this book called Zaphnatpania, you can get it for free in the giveaway. You are disqualified, you. The second one is on mentoring for success, another very good one that you will love. And the third one is snakes and ladders. Now, who wants all three? All right. So let's see who gets to win. Mr. Ahmad choose, and then PG will give it out. Right here, yeah. Mr. Ahmad choose a good winner, eh? I've seen the winner.
Who has a telephone number?
Hey, Mr. Ahmad, is that how you are?
055 16 13 521. Telephone number. Carry. Hey.
Thank you very much. So Karen gets to win a set of books and PG gets to make the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. Thank you. Thank you. PG, stay with us and do one last one for us. Oh, somebody gets to win 4 different books. Wow, it's getting interesting, eh? Kwame, every Wednesday somebody is smiling. You think you win this one? All right. So this one is Zaphnatpania, the first one. My first lessons in investment. This book, turning point. You will love this. And then snakes and ladders. Now, who wants these 4? All right. PG holders. Oh, you picked again. Oh, lovely. The women have it again. Reshuffle. Oh, no. Next week, the men will win. The winner of this one. Hey, do you know who won it? You'll be happy for the person. One day, a person was going out. She got to the door and she was a winner. Okay, the winner of this one is Anita Nati. All right, Anita gets to win this one. Yeah, somebody say it's genuine. Once she won, he say it's genuine. PG presents for her. Wonderful. Let's put our hands together for Anita. All right. Where's Pastor Mike? Pastor Mike, come and give us a closing prayer.
Shall we please rise to our feet as we bring the service to a close? Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for by your grace we began with you. You have brought us this far. We say thank you. Thank you for the thoughts that have been shared. Thank you for the knowledge that we have learned. Thank you for everything this evening. We ask for your presence to abide with us. We ask for your presence to inhabit with us. We ask for your presence to overshadow us. As we go ahead of us. Let the highway be safe. Let the byways be safe. Let the pathways be safe. Carry us on your wings to our destination safely. Grant us a sound sleep, that when we wake up in the morning, we'll lift up our hands and say, thank you for what you have done, for what you are doing, and for what you are about to do. In the mighty name of Jesus, we have prayed. Amen.